The stars above the planet Calvera were glowing red dot. It was supposed to be a quiet night. But for the alien girl named Serena, everything was about to change. Serena was a young science officer from the Varellan Empire. She had glowing blue skin, long silver hair, and bright yellow eyes. Her people were known for their intelligence, peacekeeping, and healing. War was never part of their way, but now, death was spreading fast. A deadly disease called the Red Ash Plague was sweeping across their colonies. It started with fever and ended in ash. The body would burn from inside, leaving only bones behind. No medicine worked. No cure was found. The Varellan High Council had called it the greatest crisis in 1,000 years. Serena was assigned to the outer research team on a quiet planet named Draxus 3. They were trying to study the disease from a safe distance. But then the war started. Nobody knew why the humans attacked. One day, Serena's team was collecting data near a canyon. The next day, human warships appeared in the sky. Their plasma cannons blasted everything. The research base was wiped out in minutes. Serena ran. She ran until her legs collapsed. She hid inside a deep cave while the sky burned red above her. She lost her entire team. Her best friend, Commander Yell, was turned to ash before her eyes. And worst of all, Serena had been coughing red ash for 2 days. That meant only one thing: she was infected. 2 days later, a small scouting unit landed near the canyon. They were human. Soldiers in black armor, armed, cautious. Among them was a combat medic named Jason Holt. Jason was not like the others. He didn't enjoy fighting. He joined the Earth Alliance Army only to help people. And when he saw the destroyed alien research center, something inside him broke. So many dead. So much pain. He found Serena by accident. She was unconscious, hidden. Behind a pile of rocks, her skin was pale, her breathing weak. Red ash leaked from her mouth. Jason raised his rifle, but paused. She wasn't attacking, she was dying. Instead of calling backup, he knelt beside her and checked her pulse. It was weak, but still there. Against orders, he carried her back to his field tent and treated her. When she woke up, she was shocked. A human? Helping her? She tried to sit up, but pain shot through her chest. Jason placed a hand on her shoulder. "It's okay, you're safe. I'm not going to hurt you." Serena's voice was weak. "You don't want to kill me?" "No," Jason said. "You're not my enemy." The next morning, Serena told Jason everything about the Red Ash Plague, about how it had no cure and how she only had days left to live. Jason listened carefully. He scanned her blood and ran it through every analysis system in his portable lab. What he found shocked him. Her immune system was breaking down, but when he added a small sample of his own blood to hers in the simulator, the virus slowed. It didn't die, but it weakened. Jason blinked. "This doesn't make sense. Why would my blood affect it like this?" Serena sat up, her eyes full of fear and hope. "Because human DNA has something Varellans don't." Jason frowned. "What are you saying?" Serena looked away, her cheeks turning slightly purple, blushing. "Our scientists once theorized that only through deep biological bonding could immunity be transferred. That's why we never found a cure." Jason leaned back in his chair. "Wait, you mean?" "Yes," Serena whispered. "To survive, I must bond with a human in the most complete way." Outside the tent, the wind howled. War was still, burning the sky. But inside, something new was growing. Not just survival, but a connection between two enemies, between two species. Jason didn't answer right away. His hands shook. His mind was racing. Could this be true? Could he really be the key to saving her and maybe all of her people? And if so, was he ready? The fire crackled beside them. The storm outside grew stronger, but so did the weight of the decision. Serena watched him closely. She had made her bold request. Now? The future waited for his answer. Jason sat in silence, staring at Serena. Her words echoed in his mind. To survive, I must bond with a human. In the most complete way, it was more than a medical solution. It was a deep personal request. Not just science, not just survival, something ancient and intimate. Serena sat quietly on the other side of the fire. Her hands were folded in her lap. She looked nervous, her silver hair glowing in the dim light. Her skin shimmered faintly, like the surface of water in moonlight. I didn't mean to scare you, she said softly. You saved my life. You didn't have to. And I'll never forget that. Jason swallowed. This isn't something I've ever dealt with before. Serena nodded. Nor I. Outside the tent, the sky groaned with thunder. Distant explosions from human airstrikes rumbled through the mountains. The war hadn't stopped. It was just taking a breath. Inside, two enemies were talking like something more. Jason stood up and walked to his scanner. He looked at the test results again. The virus inside Serena was aggressive, burning through her cells fast. But the moment his DNA was introduced, its power weakened. Something about his immune system confused the virus. It's real, he muttered. It's actually real. Serena stepped closer. My species isn't built for war, she said. But we are built for life, our bonding process. It's not just physical. It's emotional, mental, spiritual. Jason turned to her. You want all of that? With me? Serena's golden eyes didn't flinch. It's not about one anymore. It's about survival. I want to live. I want my people to live. And your biology might be the only thing strong enough to fight this virus. Jason sighed and sat down. And what happens if I say no? Then I die within the week, Serena said, and the plague keeps spreading until it finds Earth. There was silence again. Jason thought about his family, his little sister back on Mars, his mother in orbit around Europa. What if this virus reached them? What if Serena was right? This wasn't just about her. He looked up. If we do this, what happens to me? You won't be harmed, she said quickly. But the connection may change you. It may open parts of your mind. Virulent bonding can cause shared thoughts, dreams, feelings. Jason raised an eyebrow. You mean telepathy? In a way. It's not always clear, but when two minds touch during bonding, things pass between them. Truths, memories, desires. Jason's face flushed slightly. He cleared his throat. That's a lot. Serena smiled faintly. You're brave. I saw that the moment I opened my eyes and found you. Jason stood again. The wind outside was howling louder now. A sandstorm was forming in the valley below. They had to stay put. He walked over to Serena. His voice was firm but kind. If we're going to do this, it has to mean something. Not just for science. Not just to stop a virus. She nodded slowly. I understand. I'm not just giving you my DNA, Jason said. I'm giving you a part of myself. I won't do that for nothing. Serena stepped closer. Then let it mean hope. Not just for me, for both our worlds. They stood only inches apart now. And then she reached out. Jason took her hand. The bond began. It wasn't physical at first. It was light. A soft, pulsing glow spread from there. Fingers. Jason's breath caught in his throat. His vision blurred. He felt warmth, energy, memories that weren't his. He saw stars he had never seen, heard a song he didn't know, felt sadness, fear, joy, and something else. He was feeling her. Her childhood on the floating crystal cities. Her fear when her brother died from the plague. Her pain. Her hope. Tears slipped from his eyes, and Serena felt him too. His lonely nights on military outposts. His guilt for the lives lost in war. His courage. His quiet strength. She gasped. Jason. And then the light faded. They stepped back, both breathing hard. The first part of the bond was complete. Serena stumbled. Jason caught her before she fell. Her skin was glowing brighter now. The red ash around her lips was gone. Jason stared in disbelief. You're healing. It's working, Serena whispered. Your cells are merging with mine. Jason smiled faintly. Good. Then his scanner beeped. Loudly. He turned to the screen. An Earth Alliance drone was approaching. Damn it, he muttered. They tracked me. Will they kill me? Serena asked quietly. Jason shook his head. Not if I stop them. He grabbed his rifle and stood at the entrance to the tent. The bond had just begun, but the war wasn't over. Not yet. The sky above the canyon was filled with red dust and distant thunder. The Earth Alliance drone hovered in the air, scanning for heat signatures. Its lens glowed as it zoomed in on the tent below where Jason and Serena were hiding. Jason tightened his grip on his rifle and narrowed his eyes. His pulse was fast. The drone was only a scout, but if it reported their position, soldiers would follow. He turned to Serena. She was sitting up, her skin no longer pale, her eyes brighter. Her body had stopped shaking. The bonding had worked. At least for now. You need to stay inside, Jason said firmly. Serena looked at him, worried. You saved me. Don't throw your life away now. Jason smiled faintly. I'm not throwing it away. I'm protecting you. That's what humans do for someone they care about. The drone dipped lower. Jason activated his jammer, a small black device. With a soft pulse, it scrambled the drone's signal. The lens flickered. The drone shook, confused. Then, with a short hiss of steam, it turned and flew away. Jason exhaled. We bought some time, he said, but not much. That drone sent out a ping. They know something's here. Inside the tent, Serena began packing the medical equipment. We need to leave now. The Varellan bond is fragile during the first few hours. If I'm injured, it may collapse. Jason nodded. He quickly gathered his supplies. There's an old mining tunnel a few kilometers north. It's hidden deep underground. We can hide there. They left the tent behind and moved fast through the rocks and sand. The storm was still building, covering their tracks with wind and dust. As they walked, Serena looked around in awe. This planet, it feels alive, even in war. Jason glanced at her. I used to think it was just a rock, but now I see it differently. Why? He smiled. Because now I have something to protect on it. 2 hours later, they reached the entrance of the old mine. It was sealed by a rusted gate and buried behind thick vines and stone. Jason entered a security code. The gate creaked open. Inside, it was dark and cold, but safe. They lit a portable lantern and set up a small corner with food and medical gear. Serena sat down, breathing heavily. Jason checked her vitals, heart rate, oxygen levels, viral markers. Everything was improving. It's working, Jason said again, almost in disbelief. Serena looked at him. Jason, I can feel your emotions. Even now, the bond is growing stronger. Jason sat beside her. Yeah, I've been thinking about things I haven't thought about in years. Memories, regrets. She nodded. I saw your childhood, your sister, the fire. Jason looked away. I tried to save her. I wasn't fast enough. Serena touched his hand gently. You carry so much pain, but you still fight for others. That's strength. Suddenly, A sharp beep came from Jason's wrist device. A message. Target identified. Human traitor. Location locked. Jason's face went pale. They know I helped you. They branded me as a traitor. Serena stood quickly. Then they'll come for you, not just me. Jason grabbed his rifle again. They'll send more than drones this time. Probably a full recon team. We can't fight them, Serena said. Not alone. Jason paused. No, but we can. Outsmart them. The next morning, the first wave arrived. 3 Earth Alliance dropships landed outside the canyon. 10 soldiers in black armor moved in with scanners and rifles. They found the tent empty. They checked the tracker dead, but one soldier stopped. He noticed a strange symbol drawn into the sand nearby. A Varellan healing mark. Sir, he said. Into his cum? They're not far. And it looks like the alien's still alive. Back in the mine, Jason adjusted the heat signal emitter. It'll trick them for a little while, he told Serena, but Serena didn't answer. She was sweating. Shivering, Jason rushed over. Her skin was flickering between blue and silver. Her eyes were unfocused. The bond, it's breaking. She whispered. Jason quickly connected his neural scanner to her temple. The virus was fighting back. Harder than before. She needs a second. Merge, he realized. The first was only partial. Jason hesitated. He knew what that meant. A full bond beyond mental and emotional, one that crossed physical lines as well. One that couldn't be reversed. He looked at her. Serena opened. Her eyes weak but determined. Do it. I trust you. Jason placed his hand on hers. Then hold on. This time, there was no ritual. No soft fire. This was raw energy. Their minds collided again, but deeper. They weren't just sharing thoughts now, they were becoming one. Jason felt her pain, her joy, her fears. And she felt his strength. His love, his memories. It was more than a connection. It was unity. Outside, the soldiers got closer. One of them shouted, "We found a trail going underground." Inside the mine, Serena's body glowed white-hot. The red ash vanished from her skin. Her eyes snapped open, clear and full of life. Jason collapsed beside her, exhausted but alive. She turned to him. "You did it. You gave me what my people couldn't." He smiled weakly. "You're welcome." But then, boom! The mine entrance exploded. Soldiers stormed in with rifles. Aimed high. Jason pulled Serena behind him. It wasn't over yet. Not by a long shot. The mine shook with the sound of the explosion. Dust and debris filled the air. Jason grabbed Serena and pushed her behind a steel support beam as soldiers stormed through the broken entrance. Red laser sights cut through the dark like knives. "Freeze!" One soldier shouted, "You're under arrest for treason." Jason raised his rifle slowly, heart pounding. His hands were steady, but his mind was racing. There were too many. 6 heavily armed soldiers in black armor, rifles aimed and ready. Behind them, an Earth Alliance officer stepped forward. Her voice was cold and sharp. "Medic Jason Holt," she said. "You are charged with aiding a hostile alien and betraying your command. Surrender immediately." Jason didn't move. He glanced at Serena. Her breathing was better now. The second merge had worked. She was no longer dying. But she was still weak. "If you hurt her," Jason warned, "I'll make sure none of you leave this mine alive." The officer smirked. "You really think you can stop all of us?" Jason didn't answer, but he had a plan. Hidden behind a nearby support beam was Jason's emergency charge pack set with 3 plasma explosives. He had placed them earlier, just in case. He tapped a small button on his wristband. A faint beep echoed through the chamber. Boom! The tunnel behind the soldiers collapsed, sealing the entrance with fire and rock. 3 of the soldiers were knocked off their feet. Dust blinded the rest. Jason fired, not to kill, but to distract. He grabbed Serena's hand and ran deeper into the mine. Bullets whizzed past them, bouncing off the metal walls. "We won't last long in here," Serena gasped. "There's an exit tunnel on the east side," Jason shouted. "If we reach it, we can escape into the mountain trails." They ran through dark passages, past old mining equipment and forgotten storage crates. Jason's flashlight flickered, showing damp walls and sharp rocks. Serena stumbled once, but Jason caught her. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "My body feels stronger, clearer. Your DNA, it's healing more than just the virus." Jason didn't stop running. "We'll talk about it when we're safe." Behind them, the soldiers regrouped and started chasing. The officer barked orders through a com: "Seal the tunnels. Don't let them reach the surface." Minutes later, Jason and Serena reached a locked steel door. Jason slammed the keypad and entered a security override code. The door opened with a screech. On the other side was daylight blinding white snow on a rocky cliff. Wind blasted their faces. Serena shielded her eyes. "Where?" "In the mountains?" Jason nodded. "The mine stretches under the entire ridge. We're 8 kilometers from the canyon." They stepped outside, boots crunching snow. Then a sharp buzz filled the air. Above them, a drone. Not Alliance. Varela. Serena's eyes widened. "It's one of ours." The drone hovered silently, scanning their faces. Then it released a blue light. A voice spoke from its speaker. Soft, calm. "Serena of House Vela, your life signal has been located. Are you injured?" She stepped forward. "No, I'm alive. And I've found the key to our survival." The drone paused, then said, "Stand by. Extraction in 60 seconds." Jason raised an eyebrow. "Extraction?" Serena turned to him. "My people are still watching, even in hiding." "They'll come for me now," Jason nodded. "Good. We'll be safe." But the smile on Serena's face faded. "No, Jason, you won't be safe." Before Jason could respond, gunshots echoed from the tunnel behind them. Alliance soldiers burst onto the snowy cliff, firing wildly. The drone swerved in the air, dodging the blast. Jason pushed Serena behind a rock and fired back. One soldier fell. Another ducked. The rest took cover. Then the drone responded. It opened a hidden compartment and fired a burst of energy that knocked down 2 soldiers at once. Jason whistled. "That's a nice trick." Serena grabbed his arm. "Jason, look." Above them, a Varela stealth ship appeared, uncloaking mid-air. Its silver body shimmered like water in sunlight. It hovered, humming low and powerful. A hatch opened. "Go!" The drone shouted. Jason nodded and pulled Serena toward the ship. But just as they reached the ship, a laser bolt hit Jason's leg. He collapsed with a cry. "Jason!" Serena screamed. He gritted his teeth, blood seeping into the snow. "Get on the ship. Now!" Serena shook her head. "I won't leave you." The ship's pilot yelled. "We must go. Human presence will trigger a war." Serena's voice was sharp. "Then we take him with us." The pilot hesitated. Then the ship descended lower. Serena helped Jason up and dragged him into the open hatch. The moment they were inside, the hatch sealed shut and the ship shot upward into the clouds. Inside, Jason lay on the floor, groaning. A Varelan medic rushed over with tools and light scanners. "He's bleeding," Serena said. "But he saved me. He bonded with me." The medic paused. "He did? What?" Serena faced the crew. "This human may have the only immunity to the red ash plague. He's more than just a soldier. He's hope." The crew looked at each other, stunned. Jason tried to sit up, but the medic pushed him gently down. "Rest. You've done enough." Serena sat beside him, holding his hand. had survived the mine. But now, they were heading into alien space. And not everyone there would welcome a human. Jason slowly opened his eyes. The air smelled clean. Soft light filled the room. He wasn't in a cave anymore. He wasn't on a battlefield. He was lying on a bed inside a ship, an alien ship. He tried to sit up, but pain shot through his leg. His thigh was wrapped in a strange glowing bandage. Some kind of virulent tech. It was healing him fast, but it still hurt. A voice spoke beside him. "You're awake." Jason turned and saw Serena sitting nearby. Her silver hair floated gently in the ship's air. Her eyes were glowing warmly. He smiled weakly. "So, we made it?" She nodded. "Yes, we're aboard the Virelin medical cruiser Valari. We left the planet hours ago." Jason blinked. "Where are we going?" "To our capital moon, Vela Prime," she said. "The High Council wants to see you," Jason groaned. "Let me guess. They're not happy a human's on board." Serena hesitated. "Some are not, but others, they're desperate for a cure. News of your blood's effect on the plague has already spread." Jason sat up, despite the pain. "So I'm not just a visitor, I'm a sample." "No," Serena said gently. "You're more than that. You're the first real hope we've had." Hours later, Jason was led through the ship's main corridor. Virelin crew members stopped and stared. Some looked with curiosity, others with fear. A few even looked angry. Jason ignored the stares and focused on walking straight, though his legs still throbbed. Serena walked beside him. Most Virelins have never seen a human before. Not this close, especially not during a war. "Great," Jason muttered. "So I'm an alien to the aliens." They entered the medical research bay. Inside, strange machines hummed quietly. A large screen showed genetic maps and virus models. 3 Virelin scientists stood near a glowing chamber containing a sample of red ash. One of them stepped forward, tall male with white robes and long crystal implants on his forehead. "I am Dr. Kellen," he said. "You are the human who merged with Serena." Jason nodded. "Yes, name's Jason Holt." Kellen studied him with sharp eyes. "We've analyzed Serena's blood. Her recovery is impossible. And yet, it happened." "It happened because of him," Serena said. "His DNA is fighting the virus." Kellen turned to his team. "Begin immediate scanning." Jason sat in a chair while machines surrounded him. Soft blue light scanned his body. Tiny drones floated around, taking microscopic samples. As the tests ran, Jason spoke to Serena quietly. "Do you trust these people?" She nodded. "Most of them, but not all. Some fear humans. Others want to use you." Jason sighed. "That's what I was afraid of." After 30 minutes, the scan stopped. Kellen returned, holding a glowing tablet. "This confirms it," he said. "Your immune cells contain nanostructures that absorb the virus and deactivate it. These structures do not exist in Virelins." Jason raised an eyebrow. "So, what now?" Kellen looked serious. "We must harvest your cells, clone them, create a cure." Serena stepped forward. "You must also understand he's not just a donor. We bonded. His DNA is part of me now." Kellen frowned. "That complicates things." Jason narrowed his eyes. "What does that mean?" Later that night, Serena entered Jason's guest quarters. He was sitting alone, looking out the window at the stars. "They want to keep me here, don't they?" he asked without turning. Serena nodded slowly. "Some believe you should stay forever. For the good of the species." Jason clenched his fists. "I'm not a lab rat." "You're not," she said gently. "You're a person. And you saved me." Jason finally looked at her. "What about you? What do you want?" She hesitated, then sat beside him. "I want to protect you." Like you protected me. I want our bond to grow. Not just because of the virus, but because of what I've seen in your heart. Jason reached out and took her hand. For the first time in days, he felt peace. But it didn't last. The next morning, alarms rang across the ship. Red lights flashed. Crew members shouted in Varellan language. Jason rushed into the corridor, limping slightly. Serena met him at the hallway junction. "What's happening?" he asked. "A hostile Varellan faction intercepted our signal," she said, face pale. "They don't want humans involved. They believe bonding with you is corruption." Jason's jaw tightened. "They're coming for me, aren't they?" She nodded. "They'll board the ship within minutes." Jason looked around. "Then we fight." Serena blinked. "You can't. You're still injured." Jason smiled grimly. "That never stopped me before." She grabbed his arm. "Jason, this isn't your war." He looked into her eyes. "It became my war the moment I saved you." Outside the ship, a Varellan rogue cruiser locked on its target. Inside, Jason and Serena headed to the weapons bay, ready to defend themselves. The bond between them was growing stronger every hour. And now, it would be tested by fire. Jason opened his eyes slowly. The ceiling above him was curved and glowing softly with blue light. The air smelled clean and cool. He wasn't on Earth. He wasn't in the canyon. He was aboard an alien ship. He sat up with a groan. His leg ached, but it was tightly wrapped in glowing fabric Varellan healing material. Around him, the walls hummed with quiet energy. Strange. Machines blinked beside his bed. Then he heard a voice. "You're awake." It was Serena. She stood at the doorway, her silver hair flowing like silk. Her golden eyes filled with relief. Jason smiled faintly. "Hey, did we make it out?" Serena nodded. "Yes, we're on a Varellan medical ship. You've been asleep for 2 days." Jason looked down at his bandaged leg. "I thought I was done for." "You were hurt badly," Serena said as she walked closer. "But our healers treated you." "The ship's tech finished what I couldn't." Jason tried to stand, but his leg shook. Serena reached out and steadied him. "Easy," she whispered. "You're safe now, for the moment." Later, Serena guided him through the ship's halls. Everything was smooth and glowing. Varellans walked past, some staring at Jason, others whispering. Most had never seen a human in person. "Are they afraid of me?" Jason asked. Serena hesitated. "Some fear humans. Some fear what you might mean. But most, they're afraid of change." They reached a room filled with lights and screens. It was the ship's science lab. A tall Varellan male in white robes stepped forward. "I am Dr. Kellen. I lead the medical research team." Jason nodded politely. "Jason Holt, combat medic." "Earthborn." Kellen studied him closely. "We have scanned Serena's blood. Her recovery is impossible unless your DNA really is the answer." "It is," Serena said firmly. "He saved me, twice." Kellen turned to Jason. "We need a full scan of your body and genetic code." "With your permission." Jason nodded. "You saved my leg. I owe you that much." For the next hour, small floating devices circled Jason. They took skin samples, scanned his organs, and ran simulations on glowing panels. Jason stayed calm. Though he hated being treated like a lab rat, Serena stayed beside him. When the tests were done, Dr. Kellen returned with a glowing tablet. "We found something in your immune system," he explained. "Your white cells contain dense nanoproteins. They wrap around the virus and weaken it. Your species developed this over generations, likely through exposure to your own Earth diseases." Jason raised an eyebrow. "So, you're saying we're stronger because we've been sicker?" "In a way," Kellen said. "Your body adapts by fighting. That's something Varellans lost long ago." Serena stepped forward. "Now that we know this, what happens next?" Kellen's tone became cold. We need to take more samples. And we will begin testing the cure. But the council must decide what to do with the human. Jason frowned. What do you mean by that? Kellen didn't answer. He simply walked away. Back in the private quarters, Jason sat by the window. Stars floated outside, millions of them. Serena entered quietly and sat beside him. They're going to use me, aren't they? Jason asked. Serena didn't lie. Some will try. Others will protect you. The council is split. Jason looked at her. And what about you? She turned toward him. I believe you saved me for a reason. I believe the bond we made is more than science. It's life. And I'll protect you, even from my own people. Jason reached out and touched her hand. That bond ... I feel it too. For a moment, all was quiet. But that peace didn't last. Suddenly, the ship's alarm rang out. Red lights flashed. A voice shouted in Virelin over the speaker. Serena stood up. Fast, something's wrong. They rushed into the hull. A crew member ran past shouting, Rogue Virelin cruiser. Preparing to board. Jason froze. Rogues? Serena's face turned pale. They're radicals. They believe humans are dangerous. They think our bond is unnatural. Jason looked around. So they're coming for me? Serena nodded. And they won't ask questions. Jason limped to the weapons locker. He grabbed a plasma sidearm and checked the charge. You're hurt, Serena said. You should hide. Jason shook his head. Not this time. The rogue cruiser approached fast. It fired a pulse that disabled the Virelin ship's outer defenses. Docking arms locked onto the side. Metal hissed as the airlock sealed. Then, boom! The invaders stepped in, dark-robed Virelins with red symbols on their armor. Their leader pointed forward. Find the human. Kill him. Jason and Serena stood in the medical bay, preparing to defend the lab. Jason looked at her. Ready? Serena nodded. Together. The battle was coming. And this time, the war wasn't just between worlds. It was inside one ship. And over the future of two species. Asterisk warning lights flashed red across the ceiling. Jason stood in front of the medical bay doors, gripping his plasma sidearm. His injured leg throbbed, but he didn't care. He was ready to fight. Serena stood beside him, holding a small Virelin shock staff. Her body was stronger now. Her golden eyes burned with defiance. The rogue Virelins had already entered the ship. Their leader, a tall figure in black armor with glowing red lines, gave a simple order. Bring me the human alive. Kill the girl if she resists. Jason's jaw clenched. They want me because of my blood, he muttered. But they're not getting me. Not without a fight. Serena's grip tightened. They don't care about curing the plague. They only want control. If they get your DNA, they'll lock it away and let millions die. The hallway outside the lab echoed with footsteps. They're close, Serena whispered. Jason nodded. Then we make a stand. The first attacker rounded the corner, a Virelin with a black mask and a sharp energy blade. Jason didn't wait. He fired a quick pulse. It hit the attacker in the chest and sent him flying back. Another enemy came through the side door. Serena moved fast. Her staff lit up with electricity as she struck the attacker in the stomach. He dropped instantly. But more were coming. They're surrounding us. Serena shouted. Jason tapped a button on the wall, sealing the bay doors. Thick metal shields locked in place. That'll buy us a minute, he said. Maybe less. Inside the lab, medical machines beeped softly. Test samples and blood vials were stacked everywhere. In the middle, a small silver capsule sat glowing. Jason's blood sample. Serena turned to him. We have to destroy it. Jason looked shocked. What? That's the cure. If they get their hands on it, Serena said, they won't share it. They'll use it for power. Let others suffer. Jason hesitated, then nodded. All right. But we take the research data with us. Serena grabbed a crystal memory core and plugged it into the system. It copied everything: the virus breakdown, the bonding effects, and the healing progress. The data was uploading, but the door behind them shook hard. Boom! They're trying to break through. Serena said. Jason aimed his blaster at the blood capsule. You sure about this? Serena nodded. Do it, Jason fired. The capsule shattered into sparks and smoke. Just then, the lights flickered and the door burst open. 6 rogue virulens stormed in. Jason and Serena fired fast, dropping 2. But a stun blast hit Jason in the side. He collapsed, groaning. Serena screamed and lunged at the nearest attacker, knocking his weapon away. But another caught her with a punch and shoved her against the wall. The rogue leader entered. He looked down at Jason and spat. This is the human? The so-called savior? Jason tried to sit up, but his limbs felt heavy. You're too late, he said weakly. The sample's gone. The leader's eyes narrowed. Then we'll take you instead. He motioned to his men. Strip him. Extract the cells manually. Serena struggled. Stop. If you force it, you'll destroy the cure. The leader growled. Then we'll try again. On another human. Suddenly, a bright pulse exploded from the ceiling. Flash grenades. Jason turned his head just in time to see a squad of armored virulent defenders drop from above. The real medical crew had returned. They moved quickly and with precision stunning the rogue soldiers, pinning them to the ground. Serena was pulled away safely. Jason blinked, his vision clearing. A tall virulent woman in gold armor walked in. She had sharp eyes and a commanding voice. I am Captain Oris of the Council Guard, she announced. This ship is under protection. The traitors will be tried. She looked at Jason. And you, human, are coming with me. Later, Jason sat in the ship's secured chamber, holding an ice pack to his ribs. Serena walked in with the memory core in her hand. I saved the data, she said softly. It's all there, Jason exhaled with relief. Good, so we didn't lose everything. But the council is divided, she added. Some want to thank you. Others still want you locked away. Jason gave a bitter smile. I'm not surprised. People back home aren't that different. Serena sat beside him. They don't see you, not like I do. Jason looked at her. What do you see? She reached out and took his hand. Not just a human. Not just a cure. I see someone who gave everything for me, for peace, for life. Jason squeezed her hand gently. And I'd do it again. The next day, the High Council sent a message. Jason was to appear before them on Vela Prime. They wanted to hear from him directly, not as a soldier, not as a sample, but as a voice. For the first time, a human would stand inside the great crystal chamber of the Virulent Council. Serena looked at him and whispered, Are you ready? Jason smiled. As ready as I'll ever be. Asterisk. The great council chamber of Vela Prime stood tall like a crystal mountain, glowing with blue and silver light. Its walls were made of clear stone, letting the sky shine through. Floating orbs moved in slow circles above the floor, recording everything. Jason had never seen anything like it. He stood at the center of the room, dressed in clean virulent robes. His leg had healed. His side still ached, but he stood tall. Around him, 13 council members sat in a circle, some old, some young, all watching him with sharp eyes. At his side stood Serena. She wore a formal sash showing her status as a science officer, and as someone who had completed the virulent bonding ritual. Jason whispered, You sure I should speak? Serena nodded. Be honest, be brave. That's what you've always been. Then the council leader, a tall female with glowing skin and long braided silver hair, raised her hand. "Jason Holt of Earth," she said. "You stand before us not as an enemy, but as a mystery. You bonded with one of our kind. You carry immunity to the plague. You helped save Serena. And yet, your kind is at war with ours." Jason took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I didn't come here to fight," he said. "I came here to heal. Serena was dying. I made a choice. Not because I wanted power or reward, but because it was right." One council member, a male with dark eyes, leaned forward. "And what of your soldiers who destroyed our outposts?" "Are they heroes too?" Jason shook his head. "No, I don't stand for all humans. Just like Serena doesn't stand for all Virellans. But I believe good people can choose peace, even when their leaders choose war." Another member spoke. "You formed a bond with a Virellan. Did you understand what that meant?" Jason glanced at Serena, not fully, but I knew it was real. "And I know now it changed both of us." Serena stepped forward. "My healing is the proof. Jason's DNA didn't just stop the virus, it made me stronger. Our connection saved me." Murmurs filled the chamber. One of the older members frowned. "So what do you suggest, human? That we mix our species?" Jason paused, thinking. "Suggest we stop seeing each other as experiments and start acting like allies. You want a cure? It's in me. But not through force. Through trust." Silence fell. Then the leader spoke again. "Do you agree to share your DNA willingly for our scientists to work with?" Jason nodded. "Yes, but only if Serena is with me. I trust her. I don't trust everyone else yet." The leader raised her hand again. "So be it. The human will be placed under Serena's protection. His DNA will be studied, but only with consent." Several members nodded. A few frowned, but no one protested. The decision was made. Jason stepped back. Serena's hand found his. They had passed the trial. That night, Jason sat with Serena on a floating balcony overlooking the glowing city of Vela Prime. The stars above twinkled like diamonds. Ships moved silently between towers. "Peace for now." Serena rested her head on his shoulder. "You were brave," she whispered. "Even when they doubted you." Jason smiled. "I had you beside me." "That helped." "I've been thinking," she said. "If this works, if your DNA can lead to a cure, there may be more bonding." Jason looked at her. "You mean with other humans?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, maybe even genetic partnerships, mating, breeding programs." Jason was quiet. "And how do you feel about that?" she asked gently. He took her hand. "I don't know about others, but I know this. What we have, it wasn't science. It was real." She leaned closer. "It still is." Suddenly, a Virellan guard arrived. "Apologies," he said. "There's a situation in the outer colonies." Jason and Serena stood quickly. "What kind of situation?" Serena asked. The guard handed her a glowing tablet. She scanned it, and her face paled. Jason leaned in. "What is it?" Serena looked at him. "The plague has mutated. It's resisting the first generation of the cure." Jason's chest tightened. "What does that mean?" She looked into his eyes. "It means we might need to bond again. Deeper, stronger, maybe even create life." Jason was silent. The war was no longer just outside. It was in the blood, and the future of both species now rested in their hands. The lab was quiet, but tension filled the air. Jason sat shirtless on a biochair while Serena stood beside him, holding a fresh data tablet. Her golden eyes were focused. The screen in her hand showed a red, pulsing shape. The virus had changed. "It's faster now," she whispered. "Smarter. It adapts to the cure within hours." Jason frowned. Even with my DNA? She nodded. Yes, the first generation treatment worked. But only for a short time. Now we need something stronger. Something permanent. Jason leaned back and exhaled. You think that's still in me? Not just in you, Serena said gently. In us. Together. Jason turned to her slowly. You mean a full bond? Serena nodded. The final stage of Varellan bonding. The kind that creates a living fusion of two beings. The kind that leads to life. Jason's eyes widened. You're talking about a child. Serena looked down. Yes, but not just any child. A being born of both our bloodlines. A new immunity. A permanent one. They stood in silence. Outside the ship, the stars drifted. Somewhere, the plague was already reaching new colonies. Varellan worlds were dying again. Jason finally spoke. If we do this, it can't be because we're forced to. Not by war. Not by fear. Serena stepped closer. I'm not afraid. I know what this means, and I choose it. Not just for survival, but because of what we share. Jason's voice was quiet. I feel it too. You're more than a mission to me now. She gently took his hand. Then let's do it, as one. The Varellan bonding chamber was like nothing on Earth. Its walls were soft and alive, glowing with faint blue light. The air was warm and sweet. At the center stood two platforms connected by thin beams of floating crystal. Jason and Serena stepped onto each one. Facing each other, above them, a halo of light began to spin. A Varellan elder entered the chamber quietly. She was a bonding priestess, an old, peaceful woman with glowing markings across her face. Are you ready? She asked softly. Jason and Serena nodded together. The priestess raised her hands. Then let your minds and bodies become one. Let your blood remember. Let your futures combine. The light grew brighter. Jason felt his heartbeat slow, then rise. Serena's eyes locked onto his. The bond reignited, this time deeper, more powerful than ever. Their thoughts collided. Memories rushed in. Jason saw Serena's past, her first time touching the stars, her brother's death, her tears when the virus came. And Serena saw his lonely childhood, his training, his decision to break rules just to save her. Their bodies glowed with silver light. Jason felt warmth spreading from his chest outward into her, into the chamber, into the very air. Then Serena gasped, "It's begun." Later, Jason opened his eyes slowly. They were lying on a soft surface, still glowing faintly, still holding hands. Serena was breathing deeply, her face calm. "Are you okay?" he asked. She opened her eyes. "Yes, more than okay." Jason smiled, then paused. "Did it work?" Serena sat up and held her hand to her chest. "I can feel it. Something new inside me. Growing." Jason blinked. "Already?" She nodded. "Bonding in our kind is faster than humans expect. The new life, it has already begun." Jason stared at her, amazed. "Then we did it." "No," she said softly. "We began it." In the medical lab, scientists scanned her blood again. This time, they found something they didn't expect. Not just improved immunity. Not just stronger cells, but new cells. Hybrid. Unseen in both Varellan and human records. Dr. Kellen looked at the screen in disbelief. "This is something else. This is evolution." One of the younger doctors whispered, "This child could carry the cure to end every form of the plague forever." The High Council was notified immediately. Meanwhile, news spread through the Varellan colonies. A human and a Varellan had bonded. A child had been conceived. And hope was born with it. Some cheered. Others protested. But everyone listened. Because for the first time since the plague began, there was a future. Jason and Serena sat on a balcony overlooking the glowing lakes of Vela Prime. The stars above looked brighter now. Jason placed a hand on Serena's belly, gently. "I never thought I'd become a father," he said. She smiled. "And I never thought a human would be the reason my people might survive." Jason leaned back and sighed. "What happens now?" Serena looked ahead. "Now we protect the child. Now we prepare for what comes next." But far away in the shadows of a broken moon, someone watched the news unfold. A new enemy, one who hated the idea of unity, one who wanted the child for himself, because where some saw peace, he saw power. The Varellan sun rose gently over the floating towers of Vela Prime. Soft light danced on the water. Birds glided through the air with crystal wings. Inside a secured dome at the heart of the city, Jason stood with Serena, her hand resting gently on her belly. It had been 3 weeks since the final bond. 3 weeks since the new life had begun growing inside her. And now, they were no longer symbols. They were parents. Doctors ran tests every morning. They monitored the fetus closely. "It's growing fast," Dr. Kellen said, scanning Serena's body. "Faster than any Varellan pregnancy." Jason leaned forward. "Is that dangerous?" Kellen shook his head. "No, but it's unusual. The child's DNA is hybrid, half human, half Varellan. Stronger, sharper, and..." He paused, looking at the screen. Jason noticed. "And what?" Kellen slowly replied, "It's already showing signs of immunity. Not just to the red ash plague, but to other Varellan diseases, even some human ones." Jason and Serena exchanged a look. "This child," Serena whispered, "could lead both species into a new age." But not everyone wanted that future. In a dark room beneath the surface of the moon Zeltar, a figure watched the reports. His skin was dull gray, his eyes hollow. He wore the robes of a former Varellan elder, one cast out long ago for his radical beliefs. His name was Varos's. "The child exists," he hissed. Beside him, a follower asked, "Shall we destroy it?" Varos's turned slowly. "No. The child is power, a living weapon. If we control it, we control the cure. We control both species." He raised his hand. "Send the shadows. Bring the child to me." Back on Vela Prime, Jason and Serena were taken to a hidden mountain facility far from the city. It was surrounded by force fields, guarded by both Varellan and human volunteers. Since news of the child's conception had gone public, thousands had offered protection. Jason sat outside the chambers, staring at the sky. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt tired. Serena joined him quietly. She leaned against his shoulder. "You okay?" Jason nodded slowly. "I just don't know what happens after this, even if we survive. What kind of life does our child have? Always watched. Always targeted." Serena placed her hand over his. "Then we protect it. Always." That night, the attack came. The force field flickered. Alarms blared. The shadows, silent assassins trained by Varos, slipped through the outer barriers. They moved like smoke, invisible to scanners. One crept into the facility, blade ready. Another hacked the main doors. But as they reached the inner corridor, they were met by something unexpected. Jason, fully armored, plasma rifle in hand, eyes burning with fire. "You picked the wrong family," he growled. The first shadow lunged, but Jason fired a blast straight into its chest. It vanished in a flash of smoke. More poured in from the windows. Serena activated the defense grid, releasing energy pulses that lit up the room. The guards fought bravely, but were outnumbered. Then Serena screamed. One shadow had broken through, heading straight for the chamber where the unborn child's core energy was being stored. Jason chased it. His injured leg burned, but he didn't stop. He tackled the shadow just before it reached the biochamber. They rolled across the floor, blades flashing, Fists landing. Jason took a cut to the arm, but kept going. Finally, with one last blast, he vaporized the attacker. The chamber was safe, for now. After the fight, the council sent ships to investigate. They captured one of the shadows. Alive. Under questioning, he spoke only one name, Varus's. Dr. Kellen explained, Varus's was once a council elder. He believed in Varellan purity. When bonding with other species was discussed, he rebelled. He vanished years ago. Jason stared out the window. Now he's back. And he wants our child. Serena gripped his hand. He won't get it. Jason nodded. Then we go to him. Serena blinked. What? Jason turned to her. If we wait, he'll keep sending killers. We can't just hide. We have to end it. Serena's eyes narrowed. Together? Together, Jason said. Preparations began. A stealth ship was readied. The location of Varus's hidden base was traced to a dead moon on the edge of the sector. The mission was clear, infiltrate, confront, end the threat. But, the risk was high. Jason suited up. Serena carried a shielded device containing traces of their child's DNA, ready to prove what they fought for. As the ship launched, Jason looked at her. You're sure? She smiled faintly. He created this war. But we created something stronger. Jason nodded. For the first time, a human and an alien were flying into danger, not as enemies, but as family. Asterisk. The dead moon loomed ahead, gray, broken, and lifeless. Its surface was cracked like old glass. No cities, no signals, no light, but deep beneath the crust, in an old Varellan war bunker, Varus's was waiting. He stood in a dark chamber, surrounded by strange machines and glowing green tanks. His hands were folded behind his back. His eyes stared at a screen showing the incoming ship. They come to me willingly, he whispered. How perfect. Behind him, scientists worked. In silence, one of them looked up. If they bring the hybrid DNA, we can begin the full cloning process. Varus's smiled. With that child's blood, I will be king over both species, the savior and the master. Above the moon, Jason's ship approached silently. Serena sat at the controls, guiding the vessel through narrow canyons. Jason stood beside her, checking his gear, body armor, weapons, emergency cure vials. I still think this is crazy, Jason said. But I can't let him take our child. I won't. Serena looked at him, calm but fierce. He's not just a threat to us. He's a threat to peace, to trust, to everything we built. Jason nodded. Then we end it. They landed near a hidden vent shaft and entered the base through underground tunnels. The halls were cold. Old lights flickered above. Strange whispers echoed from deep within. Jason moved first, rifle raised. Serena followed, scanning for energy signatures. Suddenly, a wall opened and 5 shadows rushed out. Jason fired quick, dropping 2. Serena activated her energy shield and blocked the next wave of blasts. One shadow slipped in behind her, but Jason tackled him, slamming him into a wall. Not this time. Jason growled. They pushed forward. Finally, they reached the core chamber. Varus's stood alone, dressed in silver robes, arms spread like he was welcoming them. Jason Holt. Serena of Vela, I've been waiting. Jason raised his rifle. You won't get near our child. Varus's smiled darkly. You think this is about one child? No, this is about the future. With your hybrid DNA, I can create a new species, one ruled by me. Serena stepped forward. You don't care about curing the plague. You just want power. Power brings order, Varus said. Your bond breaks tradition. It weakens our purity. Jason stepped closer. No, it saved her life. It gave hope. You want to destroy everything we've built for your pride. Varus raised his hand and energy beam shot from hidden turrets. Jason rolled, dodging the blasts. Serena threw a pulse bomb, frying the machines. Then Varus leapt forward, faster than Jason expected. A blade appeared in his hand. Jason blocked it with his rifle, but Varus knocked him back. Serena jumped in, her staff clashing with Varus's blade. Sparks flew. Varus was strong, but Serena was stronger now. Their bond had changed her. She struck him in the chest hard. He stumbled. Jason fired a direct shot into his leg. Varus dropped to one knee. I created this future, he shouted. No, Serena said calmly, standing tall. You tried to control it, but it belongs to everyone. Jason stepped beside her and aimed at Varus. This is for our child. He fired. Varus fell silent. Still, the threat was over. They destroyed the cloning equipment and recovered all stolen data. Back on the ship, Jason held Serena's hand as they flew home. They were bruised, tired but alive, and they had won. Weeks later, the hybrid child was born in a peaceful birthing chamber on Vela Prime, a girl with soft blue skin, silver hair, and human-shaped eyes. She was perfect. Her blood carried immunity to the red ash plague. Her DNA was stable. Her life was history. In the making, the Varellan Council, along with human diplomats, declared a new treaty, the Unity Accord. It allowed peaceful genetic partnerships, shared science, and cultural exchange. War ended. Healing began. And in the middle of it all, Jason, Serena, and their daughter stood as a symbol, not of fear, but of hope. One night, Jason sat on a hill under Varellan stars. His daughter, still a baby, slept in his arms. Serena sat beside him, smiling. You still think this started with a war? She asked. Jason chuckled. No, it started with a choice, a decision to care. Serena nodded. And that choice changed two worlds. Jason looked down at his daughter. She opened her bright golden eyes and smiled.